So ever since season 2 dropped, I've been seeing the same question everywhere. Is security breach even worth it anymore? The skill got heavily nerfed, lockers do not have guaranteed spawns, the loot feels worse than before, and most players I run into don't even bother unlocking it. So I decided to actually test it. In this video, I opened 100 security breach lockers to see if the skill is still worth spending 36 skill points on, and I'm gonna show exactly what I got. And I'll be honest, the outcome was not exactly what I expected. Welcome back, Raiders. So in this video, I opened 100 security breach lockers for you guys so you don't have to, and you can actually see if you want to spend 36 points on that skill tree. So here's how the test worked. I fully unlocked security breach, and then I played 38 raids to open 100 lockers total. That gave me over 10 hours of recorded footage, and every locker was tracked manually. A few important rules before we go any further. These lockers were opened in basic raid variation only. No night raids, no cold snap, no electromagnetic storm. Just standard raids, because that's what the most players be actually playing. Also, everything in this video is RNG based. You could get luckier than me, or you can get worse luck than me. This is not guaranteed value, this is expected value. To keep this clean and useful, I will split all loot into 5 categories. I'm only counting the loot that most players would actually care about. That means I'm not counting ammunition, I will not be counting gray weapons or basic crafting material. Yes, you get a lot of those, but that stuff does not really help decide if the skill is worth 36 points. So the categories are as follow. Light green will be green gun parts, green utility like blast snap grenades, lure grenades, and so on. Dark green will be actual green rarity weapons like anvils, El Toros, etc. The light blue will include blue gun parts like light, medium, and heavy, blue utility like trigger grenades and fuse grenades, and then dark blue color will include blue rarity weapons and blueprints. And then there will be purple color, which includes everything purple that is purple weapons, wolf packs, and purple gun parts. As the video goes on, I will be updating the totals on the right side of the screen so you guys can track everything in real time. At the end, I will show you guys the total items I've got, percentage per rarity, and whether the skill is actually worth investing and does it actually pay off. If you do not wish to watch the whole thing, you could skip to the end, or you could listen to this random fella and follow what he says.
Okay, wait, watch this one. Yeah, put this in the video.
Yes! 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 Come on!
Watch this video.
Dang it!
Since season 2, most players don't really run security breach anymore, and honestly, I get it. The lockers don't always spawn. I had to do so many raids just to forget them actually spawn. The loot feels worse, and 36 points is a huge investment early or mid wipe. But since I did invest my points into it, I also noticed that a lot of those lockers, when they did spawn, were just sitting there unopened. Everything around them were looted, but the lockers itself were untouched. So I kept thinking, is this skill secretly still good, or is it actually dead? So I sacrificed my time so you do not have to. So let's talk results. Across 100 lockers, here's what stood out immediately. Weapons drop a lot more often than I would have expected it. Most weapons drop level 2 or higher. Purple items are actually not as rare as I thought. Out of all the weapons, most weapons drop level 2, but if you get a purple weapon, it will most likely be level 1. So in night raids, you might be able to get higher rarity weapons. The single most common weapon I got was the El Toro shotgun, and it wasn't even close. I got so many of them. If you're a shotgun player, security breach is actually kind of cracked. I walked out of this test with stacked shotgun inventory, and after that I could main Toros for a long time without actually crafting anything. So if your playstyle already leans towards the shotguns, that's a big plus. Lockers also drop a decent amount of blueprints. Not insane, but noticeable. I personally got gun part blueprints, Patina blueprints, and Venator blueprints. And I also know for a fact you can get Osprey blueprint, Anvil blueprint, and a few others. You can get those blueprints in other places, so I wouldn't really invest my points into the security breach just for the blueprints. But it does add some value. Now let's talk money. Across the 38 raids, I made over 2 million coins. And no, it was not just only from the lockers. I was obviously looting normally between the locker runs, but a huge portion of that income came directly from security breach loot. On average, I was pulling about 50,000 per match from locker value, sometimes even more. and it adds up pretty fast. And most of us probably will need to farm for 5 million coins again at the end of the wipe, so this is actually a pretty decent way to do it. For me, this skill made the most sense. I'm a player who does not craft weapons at all. I have not crafted a single weapon this wipe. I don't like to rely on crafting weapons so I can save my inventory space, and originally I was planning on dumping my points into survival tree regardless for the field crafting and advanced field crafting, mainly so I could craft Raider hatch keys in mid-match. So for me, Security Breach kind of just made sense. It let me stockpile weapons, it allowed me to stockpile utility, as you can see, and it just lets me avoid crafting pretty much altogether. I also noticed that you will get a lot of blue gun parts, like a lot of them. So considering you are getting quite a few extra guns for yourself from these lockers, you can use the parts to repair them or upgrade them to the max level. The guns never come broken. They either have above half health or almost full health, so you'll be able to use them for quite a while before they break. The most common purple item that I was getting was Wolfpack, which honestly I am not complaining about because they're quite expensive to make, and if you do not have the blueprint yet, it's even harder to get them. So this is a really good way to prepare for like trials, to make them so you can make them quick and easy. As you can see, I have a bunch of extra Wolfpacks now in my stash that I can use just from doing these lockers. Even though I have the Wolfpack blueprint, I will probably not even craft one this season. So if I actually need one, I will just hit up a few lockers. Another really interesting thing I noticed is that every time I did the Security Breach runs, I got enough materials to craft the hatch key. So I did not actually have to go to the extract if I didn't want to risk the loot. But I feel like this part only worked because of the spaceport map, since I have like 8 easy access locker locations if they actually manage to get spawned. Another really useful thing is that the lockers drop a crazy amount of utility, like showstopper grenades, trigger grenades, fuse grenades, or smoke grenades. Not only they're useful obviously in combat, but they sell also for a lot of coin. You will most likely get 3 to 5 of them each game, depending on how many lockers you get. If you get all of the lockers, you'll get way more, but like let's say you get only 3 to 5 each game, that's still additional 5 to 10,000 coins you can just earn from that. I personally gonna save them up for my expedition once I reach that tier where I have to put a specific amount of money in it. So far I have not done that. I am barely on like tier 2, and I'm still yet to fully upgrade my workbenches. I think because so many people were doing the Security Breach last season, getting so much loot, and then they nerfed it to the ground, now nobody actually uses them, so it's even more powerful than last season. You might get a few less purple items, but at the end you will get way more loot due to the fact that most players will stay away from this skill. Over the 38 games I played, maybe like 5 games, some lockers were already open. The rest of the games, they were either untouched or just did not spawn. The season has been out for a while now, so most players will be already at the amount of skill points you need to unlock this skill. So I think they just choose not to do so. If you play last season and you had it unlocked, most likely you noticed how every time someone spawns on Spaceport map, they instantly run for the towers. Or same thing happened with Buried City, where the people instantly ran for the lockers to get better weaponry, and it was myself included. But now it's not the case anymore. The change they made to the lockers is actually really good, in my opinion, and the lockers are still very strong, just not as consistent. You also get a lot of basic crafting materials you can use for crafting or recycle to sell, but obviously I did not want to count those, not only because the most players do not care for them, but also the fact that this video would be an hour long. I have already been yapping for what seems to be forever, so if you're still watching this, thank you, it does really mean a lot. For the people who sticked with me for this long, comment down below the word duck and I will know who did it. If you guys would like to see me open 100 Raider caches next, to see how much loot you can get or how many blueprints you can get out of them, leave a like. I would set a like goal, but honestly my videos are performing so randomly that this video could get 3 likes or it could get 3,000 likes. Let's just say about 250 likes and I will do the Raider caches next. If some of you decide to unlock this skill from watching this video but you do not know where they spawn, you can use any of the Arc Raiders interactive maps. I personally use the Metaforge one, and you can select the security breach option to see where they spawn. So far the footage in the background shows I have opened around 70% of the lockers. I will let some music play in the background for the rest of them, and at the end we will go over the statistics. So at the end, I got a total of 373 useful items. So the results I will be calculating based off of that. Since we made 5 categories of loot at the beginning of the video, we will go off of that. We got 60 light green items, 32 dark green items, 196 light blue items, 24 dark blue items, and 61 purple items. Based off of those numbers, out of 100 security breach lockers, we got 16.09% light green item category, which includes green utility and gun parts, 8.58% dark green category, which is actual green weaponry, 52.55% light blue item category, which includes utility and blue gun parts, 6.43% darker blue category, which includes blue weapons and blueprints, and 16.35% purple items, which includes all purple items. So is the security breach perk worth it? Yes, in my opinion, it definitely is, especially if you're a solo player. If you play a lot of solo, if you do not have specific blueprints for those guns, but you want to play with those guns, it's an easy way to actually acquire those weapons. If you want a steady source of income towards your coins, or you love shotguns, security breach is still very good. If you mainly like to PvP and you play duos and trios most of the time, and you rely on night raids, and you want if you just like to fight all the time, then yeah, you probably should skip it, because you would want to invest your points into more mobility than actual looting. But at the end of the day, it all depends on your playstyle. This video took me ages to make, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you found this video helpful, leave a like, and maybe even subscribe if you want to see more Arc Raiders content from your boy Bob. Let me know in the comment section below if you are going to unlock this skill or not, or you think it's not worth it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys topside. Bye.